Note, we are ready now to move on to our next speaker for this morning, who is Mr. Bruno Vilares. Mr. Bruno is Senior Marketing Manager, Core Network Business Unit at Huawei Technologies Company Limited. Mr. Bruno works for the Shenzhen-based Huawei Core Network Department, responsible for the development, evolution, and the deployment of the legacy, present, and future technologies like 5G, NFV, and IoT. His current focus are voice over LTE, voice over IP, voice over Wi-Fi, unified communications, 5G, the mobile network architecture evolution, and the new revolution of IoT. All of this with a special attention on the system integration and the business markets understanding. He's here today to give us a presentation titled Connecting Beyond the Horizon. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, it's now our pleasure to welcome our next speaker on stage. Let's put our hands together and welcome Mr. Bruno Vilares.
Well, good morning, everyone. I'm sorry, I was in agenda. We had a 10-minute stop, so that's why. First of all, thank you so much for inviting Huawei to speak in this so great forum and so insightful. And in my particular name, thank you so much for inviting me for the first time to Sri Lanka. It will be a pleasure. So let's start the presentation then. Thank you. So I will try to move around. So one of the cases that we already saw GSMA talking about, and that is a case, that means that everyone did their homework, is about this, right? The waste. And IoT, Internet of Things, is one of the things that we think that it can help. So can we give a hand on this? If you look at these, they are containers. They look very nice. So if we put some smartness on it, if we put a sensor on it, what we have? We have smart garbage containers. And smart garbage containers can bring a lot of solutions, as was talked just before. Basically, with a battery that has a very long life, also, if we have the opportunity to have the coverage, and if we have the opportunity to have the power included, we can make it smarter. We can cut the time, for example, that we spend covering the city to check how much is the load that we have on the containers, which means that we can save time, we can save cost in terms of gasoline, as it was said before, we can save the environment because we are moving much less. So as you can see over there, if we think that the time to check a container is 15 minutes, we can say that easily going to the containers that really has something inside, we are saving around 40% of the daily work of the workers that do that job, which is great. So we can really focus on what matters. But then you can ask me, okay, Bruno, that is nice, but where is the business? Because if there is no business, nothing moves, right? So if we have a smart container, we have a cache container, which means that if we put a sensor on the container, we are basically making around, let's say, as it says there, $10 per year. If you look to the amount of garbage that Sri Lanka, locally, in terms of a country, produces per year of solid wastes, we can extrapolate a bit how many containers we need to collect all of those. So if each of them contributes with $10 per year, it's a simple math. It means that is another revenue stream that we are opening that before we were not even considering. But containers is nice, is a good case because it's a case that you can apply here. That is a case that we can really apply to the reality of Sri Lanka. But we have other cases. We have, for example, for the bicycles, for example, that in many countries, including in China, is really crazy, to be honest. Just for you to give an example, in Shenzhen, yes, I live in China. There are 5 bicycle companies just doing renting of bicycle, 5. And all of them, they have national coverage. And some of them, like OFO, which we are working very closely with, they are going international, to UK, for example. Also, some cases like the metering. So as you can see, shipping containers, the smart lighting associated with the smart city. So the cases are immense. We just need to keep going, and we will find a business, and we will find a technological solution. We as Huawei, we don't stop. We always think ahead. So we start a lab, we call it X Labs. And what these X Labs do is basically find business needs, find society needs, and turn them into reality, thinking in the middle on the best technology way to solve it. So we have been working very closely at this center. And we have thinking that, for example, as was said before, more than the devices itself, if you look for the meters, the electric meters, of course that we are putting electric meters. Of course there is a business for each electric meter that we sell. But let's think the next step. Let's think much more what we can do, as it was said before, but carefully with security. We are not Facebook. So what we can do, we can sell our platform as a service, our IoT platform as a service, and we can do big data analysis. So we can provide our enterprise customers with a much enriched service that only saying if the meter is working, if there is no leaks, and how much the end user needs to pay. So we are enriching the service, we are bringing value. And our bringing value, we are moving from one very small amount of revenue, which is the connection. We are going above the value chain of the Internet of Things, which in the end of the day is a great thing for us. So what is needed in terms of IoT? And what is needed in terms for us to address these new markets? I'd like to say a French mindset. Yes, IoT is a totally different way of doing business that our hosts Mobitel and others in the same area were doing for a while. We also need, as you can see over there, a smart network and a strong ecosystem. A smart network, we already talked about it. We need to have a very good technology with the widest coverage, a capability to understand what is going on in our network, so doing data analytics. So all of this needs to be in place. And then a strong ecosystem, because the reality is that IoT is all about strong ecosystem. So if we don't have a strong ecosystem in place, it will be very difficult for us to build an end-to-end service. Our customers want their needs solved. They don't want us to just provide one piece of the pie, because they will not be able to cook the entire rest. They want our help, our consultancy, to provide the pie. They just want to sit and enjoy a wonderful moment of sugar. So, what we believe, and what the industry believes, is that 70% of all cellular IoT connections will be LPWA. 70% in 2020. It's a huge amount of it. So it means that we really need to focus on the technology. We need really to focus on the capability to cover all these connections. Because IoT, we're going to have other connections, but clearly LPWA is the main one. And why is the main one? Because it covers many different devices for a longer time. And this is the answer to really enrich the coverage of our capabilities in terms of Internet of Things. But having so many devices, it brings us two challenges, right? Immediately pops up to our heads. The challenge of performance, too many connections coming to our network, and then the challenge of operations. We need to be sure that we have the right platform, the right access network, and the right way to connect the access to the platform, so we have everything working properly. Our customers are not buying a solution that works now and tomorrow maybe, and the next day for sure not. So we need to be sure that in terms of operation and performance, we are stable. That's why we say that we are carrier-grade provider of services. So, and why NB-IoT is maybe one key solution, one key technology, and that's why Mobitel picked it. Because of these 3 points. The coverage, which is quite important. We want to cover the widest area possible with the smallest investment that we can. Also, in terms of cellular connections, we said before, is a challenge. We're going to have a huge amount of connections. So we need a solid solution, a solid technology to deal with all these tech connections. And preferably, that doesn't change too much the technology that we already have deployed. Our 4G or GSM networks don't change too much. Because otherwise, it will be a blockage to the adoption. And in the end, the battery. Of course, as it was said before, we don't want to change a meter. We don't want to change a parking spot space sensor every year, every 2 years. It kills the business case. So we need at least 10 years, that was the figure that was designed, of life expectancy to the battery. And one of the things is that sometimes vendors or sometimes operators even come with technologies. For example, in the recent MWC, 3 weeks ago in Barcelona, I was surprised when Vodafone was showing messaging over NB-IoT. It's interesting. For them it works, because they can cover a wide area in rural areas and still provide a key service, which is messaging. And NB-IoT was not designed for that, but they are using it. So, NB-IoT has a lot of traction on the market. It has been going together with our friends from GSMA for a while in terms of standardization. But the most important message that I want to pass here with this slide is that, as you can see, the endpoint is already 5G. That means that the technology that we are talking about today, the technology that we are investing today, it's already looking to the future. It's already looking to what is coming next. Because that from the triangle of requirements of 5G that everyone knows, one of them is the massive machine type of communication. There we go, 5G. IoT, sorry. So we are looking forward, and we are looking to be aligned with the technology from this moment, which means that we are not going to waste investments. So NB-IoT is getting a lot of traction on the market. From us and others, chipset vendors that are making chips to put in the devices. Also, in terms of networks that are rolling out NB-IoT, like Mobitel. Connections. The number of connections are increasing in amount that is raising a lot, and we believe that in 2018 we're going to see even a huger amount of increase. So clearly, NB-IoT is being used by carriers to be the key technology for cellular IoT. And what cases do we already have? Well, us and at Huawei, one of the things that I need to say thank you, of course, it was not in purpose, but it was very good to see GSMA showing cases where we work together, where we work providing technology, like the Vodafone case for Valencia Waters. The cloud infrastructure was provided by us. Or, for example, the Disneyland in Shanghai was also provided by us technology there. So we are learning from our customers. We are learning from the reality of the business to understand what are the requirements, what should be the answers that we should build. And that's why we can say that we already have cases that we can replicate, that we can more easily launch in the networks worldwide. And Mobitel is just another case. Because if you make the cases simpler, if you make the technology simpler, more easy will be the adoption by everyone. So, okay, now in your minds you are saying, okay, you say that you already learned a lot, you said that you already participate in projects, but in the end of the day, what do you bring to the table? What do you bring in terms of business solution? What do you bring in terms of technology solution? So for us, we say that to have a ubiquitous coverage, a narrowband technology, and also an IoT platform, we need 3 pillars, right? We need the infrastructure, means that Huawei is pretty much focused on the coverage, RAN access coverage, core network capabilities, and the platform, so we can manage the devices, manage the connections, and also expose our capabilities to the partners, to the enterprise partners that are building the solutions. We also believe that it's very important to make it easy the operation of this entire infrastructure, and we are very focused on that, so we can provide big data analytics, we can provide information of what is going on in terms, for example, in terms of location. Where are the devices deployed? And we can also fetch status from the devices, knowing if the devices are okay, if something is going on, if some device is not working. So all this information is very useful and important. And in the end, another key point, another key pillar, which is ecosystem. Like I like to say, we as a company, we come from the factory of the world, China. So there is no difference that many of the device vendors, many of the sensor vendors are making their sensors there. Which means that for us, it's very easy to build an ecosystem. To build partners that we can bring to the table together with us, so we can talk together with our customers. So in the end, this process of launching IoT is a path. It's a path that starts by analyzing the market, analyzing the specific market, as I said in the beginning. For example, the garbage collecting is a situation, is a challenge in Sri Lanka. So we have there a business opportunity. We have there a need that the society needs to have solved. So we start from there, as you can see there. We do the business case selection and we do the business design. We, as Huawei, we can bring the knowledge of other business solutions that we have built in the replicate cases on other markets, but even though every market is different, but at the same time, every market has common points that we can reuse. After that, we start for working on what we are known for, technology. Technology answers, technology solutions, together with the partners that we can bring, so they can provide us also their expertise and knowledge on devices, on sensors, on chipsets, or even on the back end, on the graphical user interfaces, on the way to put all the information that we collect in an easy way for our end users to digest it. And of course, in the end, go to market and operation. So, as I said, physical network and ecosystem, they are IoT twins. They are all together. If you don't build them together, and that's why we have an hackathon starting today until tomorrow, to build an ecosystem, to build services, to build knowledge, we cannot build an entire service offering, which is what our end users, what our customers are asking for, needing for. So, again, I said ecosystem is important. I said that we are working closely with partners, but how do we do this? Well, we have what we call centers, innovation centers, where we can provide the technology end-to-end, radio access, transport, and core network, and the platform, which is key here. So our partners can test their devices, their sensors, their solutions on our network. If they cannot use if they cannot go to our centers, which can happen, because even though we are a global company, we don't have centers everywhere, we can provide software. A software where they can emulate exactly what is going on the center, in innovation center. So they can emulate the network behind and properly test their solutions, their sensors. And then we provide them a certification, meaning that we feel comfortable if a customer, for example, asks us, I need a solution for electric metering, smart grids. We can immediately provide my dear customer, our partners for that area are these ones. You can pick the one, deal directly with them, but we can ensure that our network, our platform, and our access radio network is ready to work with them. And this facilitates the business for everyone. The customer has our customers, the carriers, they have an end-to-end solution. Our partners, they have the possibility to address a wider market with our support, and we can bring a better and a more complete solution to our customers. So this is a win-win-win situation. Okay, so I talk about technology, and now you can say, technology is ready, it's here. But everyone, well, normally we would like to say, in the upper floor, the management, we're going to ask, okay, we have the technology, but we are still a company, which means that we need to provide profits. We need to make money. So where is the business? Where is the money? The reality is that there are different models. And we have seen with experience different models coming up. We have the centric on the operator, the centric on the carrier, because the carrier says, no, 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 the customer is mine. I'm the one that is already selling internet connection. I'm the one that is already selling smartphones. I'm the one that's already selling even TV to the enterprise. So nobody touched my enterprise. I'm the one that talks directly with them. I already have my enterprise channels open. So in that case, of course, we as Huawei, we provide the platform, we provide the radio access network capabilities, we can provide the core network capabilities, and then the chipset, of course, we provide to the modular, to the device vendors. We put our chipset there. Of course, we can work to other chipsets. Everything is standard. But even though. And then we put everything together with an SI, and the SI can be many different entities. In some cases, in big operators, they'll say, the SI is me. I have an SI team. So I make my own, I collect the bits and bytes, put everything together, you build me the network, I work together with the vendors of devices, and we build a solution. The big difference here is that, of course, the allocations in percentage over there, they are estimations. And if you ask me, what is CMP? Connection Management Platform, DMP, Device Management Platform, and then the AEP, which is basically the exposure of the capabilities to the enterprises, to our partners that are building the service. So these 3 points, they are included on the IoT platform, the Ocean Connect, our IoT platform from Huawei. So that's the one that we co-locate. So as you can see, for the operator, for the carrier, we are trying to get more and more away from the connection because the pure connection is very slim value. And then we have the system integrator, the application provider that provides the application, that builds it, and the device and the chip modular for a total of 100%. I'm almost sure that I make the counts correct, the math correct. So this is one of the ways that we see, and that honestly I see more times happening. But we as a company, we need to be flexible. We need to understand customer requests. And some customers, they just want a different model. Some customers, they say, you know, we have a very good and strong SI partner. So can you put us on the, can you put them in a loop so they can help us to build a solution? Well, in that case, as you can see, the operator chunk will squeeze a little bit because the integrator will have is the one that will be interfacing with the customer. And this changes a bit the rules of the game. But many of our customers, some, not many, because they are not the majority, some of our customers, they prefer this model because they are not comfortable to address these kind of solutions. They are changing. We have less and less that do this, but even though this model is possible. So, basically, what we can say is that now it's time to play with the Lego pieces. I always loved Lego, and that's why maybe I end up as an engineer. So, we already have the technology. So, basically, we have the chipsets, we have the devices, we have the networks, we have the developers. Even today and during 24 hours, we're going to have a lot of developers giving us the opportunity to see their fresh minds putting out new ideas. And clearly, we have market requirements. We have service demands. Every market, they have their own requirements. Maybe the bicycles, when I was discussing with Mobitel, is not the case to start with. But then we have the trash, then we have the electronic metering. We have other cases. We always have business. So if we focus initially on 2-3 cases, no more, to not spread too much attention, and then we start building the chain of value, we're going to help, of course, in many of these points. We can address the market with NB-IoT solutions. We can address the market with Internet of Things solutions. So one of the things that I would like to say is that I listened to this when I was meeting the Mobitel this week was, well, we are in a chicken and egg situation. It's true. So let's just break this deadlock. Let's just start approaching our customers, which we already know very well, our enterprise customers, our vertical customers that we know very well. I know that verticals is not an area that operators, carriers, were so comfortable to address with. We were focused on enterprises and focused on consumer. Was good, was enough. But nowadays, the verticals, they need much more from us than just connection, than just pipe. So let's address them. Let's use our great sales channels that we have and start understanding what can be 1 or 2 use cases, 3 maximum, that we can deploy in a relatively short time and start the cycle. So we can address the market with better solutions and faster solutions. So at this point, I would like to say thank you so much. And I would be more than willing to answer any questions. I'll be around today and tomorrow, even though it's Saturday and it's my birthday, I'll be here. So yeah, I'll pass my birthday in Sri Lanka. It will be a special date for sure, not to be forgotten anytime. So I'll be here, so feel free to make questions. Feel free to pump us with ideas. I'm willing to do that. I love to get my brain excited with new solutions and new possibilities. So please, don't feel shy. I'm trying to be very social guy. I'm always. So talk with me will be a pleasure. Thank you so much and enjoy the rest of the session. Thank you.